Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pitch Catch podcast. My name is Eli Swice,
And I'm Joey Fernandez.
and today we're going to be going over some awards, some of our award predictions, and just talking about the finalists for the awards coming up. And then we're also going to go over some free agent talk. So, if any of that interests you, make sure to stick along and give us some of your predictions down below or on our TikTok page at Pitch Catch Pod. That's the name for all the socials. So, if you want to follow us, by all means, go ahead and we appreciate it. But we can get right into it. MVP. The top three MVP candidates were shown. Does any of them surprise you?
Um, Not really. I mean, Simeon, Guerrero, and Otani all had good years. So,
Mm.
I mean, I feel like the clear 1 and 2 is Shohei and Vlad, but Simeon deserved to be 3, I think. Oh,
Oh, Simeon had a fantastic year. I mean,
yeah.
one of the best years we've seen from a second baseman, to be honest. And the power numbers were absolutely insane. I'm a big fan of him. He deserves it. I mean, Vladdy, it's tough to put up a year like he did and not win it, but I don't think we need to spend too much time on that. Just because
No,
Shohei is just the clear front runner in our minds, I don't think there's any sort of debate there.
no. I mean, if Shohei didn't pitch, it would obviously be Vlad, but
Yeah,
no, I mean, once you add that element in there, it's not even really it's not even a question, honestly.
yeah.
There's not really much to say in that aspect.
I think National League may have a little bit of a different conversation for some people. It
Yeah,
was Bryce Harper, Juan Soto, and Fernando Tatis Jr.
yeah.
Um, what are your thoughts on it, and who do you have winning?
Um, well, I think Juan Soto deserves to win it.
Hmm.
But just thinking about how the voters are probably thinking, I think Bryce wins it.
Yeah.
Just because of all the other things that they taken into account and the counting stats and stuff like that. But I think it wouldn't be like a necessarily a bad thing for Bryce to win it. I don't think he's necessarily like clearly the second place guy.
Yeah, I would agree. Bryce Harper definitely deserves to win an MVP. Like with his season, it's
Yeah.
just Juan Soto just had a better year, and it's unfortunate that he's on the Nationals because he's probably not going to get as much credit as he should.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
and like you said, Bryce Harper probably will win it if you take into account who's voting and all that. If it was up
Mhm.
to us, I'm sure we would pick Juan Soto. Um, I know you got some money on Bryce Harper, so you could be
Yeah.
sitting a little pretty very soon.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Tatis had a fantastic year. Obviously, some injuries plagued him. I don't really think he should even be thought of as someone who should win the MVP this year, just because
No.
Juan Soto and Harper stayed healthy and just had really good years for their respective teams. But Tatis is a superstar. We all know that. But it was nice seeing him at number three. I don't have any particular issue with it, just because in the time he was playing, he was extremely dominant. But I think
Yeah.
the conversation here more is Juan Soto versus Bryce Harper, and
Yeah. He
yeah.
just he just kind of gets beaten everything but home runs and I guess stolen
Hmm.
bases. But like everything
Yeah.
else, Juan Soto is the higher OPS. Bryce Harper is the higher OPS. They're both better on defense. So
Hmm.
it's, I mean, it's pretty clear cut what the 1 and 2 is. It's just what you prefer in the other aspects.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Moving on to Cy Young, we got Garrett Cole, Lance Lynn, and Robbie Ray. Were you a little surprised to see Lance Lynn thrown at number three?
Um, Not necessarily. I didn't feel like there was a clear number 3, so I wasn't sure what they were gonna go where they were gonna go
Yeah.
with it. But I'm not mad at it. He still had a good season if you look at his numbers and stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, he's clearly not gonna win it or anything, but they kind of
Yeah.
needed a third guy, and I don't think he was a bad guy to go with. I like my boy Lance getting some recognition,
Yeah.
but
No, for sure. A very good year from him. And we talk about what kind of factors into the Cy Young, and obviously innings pitch is kind of a big deal, and that's
yeah,
probably
exactly.
why he's not even going to get any consideration for
Mhm.
the first place vote. But I think it is cool that he at least got his recognition for having a fantastic year. But the conversation kind of shifts towards Garrett Cole and Robbie Ray. I feel like for the National League MVP and also the American League Cy Young, the more analytical driven people are on the Bryce Harper, Garrett Cole side, and the more just casual fans, I mean, on the Juan Soto, Garrett Cole, and the more like casual fans ish are more on the Bryce Harper, Robbie Ray side.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just based off the counting stats. Robbie Ray beats him in ERA, I believe, but anything else, to be honest, that's of importance. I mean, Garrett Cole just dominates him.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people just want to dislike Yankees players just because they're on the Yankees. So,
Hmm.
I mean, you can't really deny it at this point, though.
Yeah,
I I mean, I could see Robbie Ray cutting it to a decent race, but I don't think there's any way you can't pick Garrett Cole.
yeah, for sure. I would definitely agree. I love Robbie Ray. Um, I think he's a fantastic pitcher, and
Yeah.
obviously, the Blue Jays are one of my favorite teams, as you know. He's a great pitcher, and Garrett Cole had a little up and down season, but for the most part, was particularly dominant. And I have no problem with him winning it. I do think there is a chance, and a bigger chance than most people think, that Robbie Ray actually does come away with this award.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be necessarily mad.
Hmm.
I mean, they both deserve to be top two in general. So,
Hmm.
it's weird. It's tough to think about how the voters would think, because they don't
Hmm.
think the same way that me and you necessarily would, obviously.
Yeah,
So it's tough. I definitely could see it, just because of also going back to the Yankees thing. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a closer race there, which is it's cool to see someone like Robbie Ray and Lance Lynn get recognition. Maybe two people who you didn't think were going to have those type of years coming into
yeah,
the season. Garrett Cole's kind of a staple in this conversation at this point. Moving on to the National League, we got Corbin Burns, Max Scherzer, and Zach Wheeler. Um, this one may be the closest one, if I
yeah, it's
if
definitely
if I were
closer.
to judge.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all three guys are a little more involved. I mean, I don't think Zach Wheeler is going to necessarily win it or anything, but
Hmm.
I don't think he's necessarily like completely out of the conversation as far as
Hmm.
like kind of like how Lance Lynn is.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a very tight race, and Max Scherzer and Corbin Burns had fantastic years.
Mhm.
I think you know by now I'm on the Corbin Burns train. I think he should win
Yeah,
this award, but it's one of those where if Max Scherzer wins, I have absolutely no problem just because I really like the guy and he had a fantastic year. So there's no point in even being mad at anything like that. And I do think this one's the closest, and I really don't know who the writers are gonna pick.
yeah. It's man, it's super tough. I
Yeah.
I think Corbin deserves the win, obviously, but I have a
Mhm.
feeling they're just gonna give it to Max. Just
Yeah.
all reliable. They're used to putting his name on the ballot. They're used to they're just used to that Max Scherzer, and I just feel like that gives them a little bit of an advantage, especially since he came out and pitched longer in the playoffs than Corbin did, so he's fresher on the minds.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think Corbin Burns still, even though being in this conversation, is a little bit underrated just
Mhm.
because he had such a good year. And in my opinion, the best starting pitching year of this,
Yeah,
besides DeGrom, if you take into account like health and stuff.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, Scherzer he came in for LA and really led them into the postseason. Um, Fantastic pitcher, and we'll get to him later probably when we talk about free agents. But um, I do think Max Scherzer is going to end up coming away with this award, and I'm not particularly mad at it. I wish Corbin got a little more recognition, but can't really complain about that. But we can move on to Rookie of the Year, which is I don't know. I don't know whether to call it interesting or kind of standard on how we thought. American League, we got Rosarena, Franco, and Luis Garcia. Anything
yeah.
that surprises you there?
Not really. I mean, I guess it's cool that they put Wander in, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he has a real enough shot just because of the games played aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if he even came close to the games that like the other two participated in, I think it's easily Wander. But
Mm-hmm.
sadly, he didn't get called up in time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I I'm not gonna lie though, with how he handled himself in the big leagues
Mhm.
and what he did for that team, I wouldn't be mad if he won it. And
No,
I
no,
think a
no, no,
lot of
yeah,
people would disagree with that just because of the games played,
yeah.
but he was unbelievable.
No, yeah, he was an absolute stud. I mean, you can't really be mad at it, but at the same time, it'd be like, I feel like it would be
Yeah.
a little disrespectful to the other guys,
Hmm.
'cause they only played
Yeah.
7 games.
Yeah. If you were to have to pick a winner, who would you pick out of these three?
Uh, I'm gonna go with Randy.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think I think he was very sound this year. He wasn't necessarily too like. I mean, he he didn't live up to what he was in the playoffs last year. But don't get me wrong. I mean, how could you really expect that? But
Yeah.
he still had a 130 OPS plus.
Hmm.
Did very well. Played a lot of games. Was a consistent stalwart in their lineup all year. So I'm not mad at it. Luis Garcia also did pretty good though. So I also wouldn't be mad at him either. So
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with what everything you just said. I do think Randy's going to come away with it just because his name. It's kind of crazy that he's still a rookie. I feel like he's been in the league for 2, 3 years already, just because of how
mm,
much we've seen him. But I think he does come away with it. National League, we got Dylan Carlson, Jonathan India, and Trevor Rogers. I think it's pretty clear to say Jonathan India should come away with this award. Are you on the same page?
no doubt.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy in my opinion.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, just a great year overall for him, and he really took everyone by surprise. I do have an issue though, and call me biased, but how can you not put Frank Schwindel in here, who played 6 games less than Wander Franco and had a
okay.
153 WRC plus?
Who are you taking out here then, Dylan?
Yeah, not no
Okay.
no disrespect to Dylan, he had a good year.
I don't know.
If
And
you're gonna
you're at
put one, if you're gonna put Wander Franco in there, how do you not put 150 plus WRC plus Frank Schwindel, who took the league by storm? I don't get it.
uh, hey,
As a Sox
I'm not
fan,
saying.
take all the biases aside, how do you argue that?
I mean, personally, for me, I wouldn't have put Wander in just
Okay.
because of it. So, you're probably asking the wrong guy. I think
Hmm.
Dylan Carlson probably deserves it because he played way more. But hey, I don't know. I'm not contributing to the Dylan Carlson slander that's going on right now.
Oh no, it's not any
I know.
slander,
I'm kidding.
but he, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where, I mean, if Wander Franco wasn't included, maybe we would have a different conversation.
That's fair.
But I mean, just looking at what Frank did in a short time, and again, if Wander wasn't included, I probably wouldn't be arguing this.
Mm,
But it kind of sucks that Wander Franco's included and Frank's not. I mean, I don't really know how you argue that. I mean, he
that's
was.
fine. Yeah,
It's
I'm
it's
cool.
tough. It's a tough situation. I get it, and maybe I'm just pushing too hard as a Cubs fan.
Mhm.
And I don't know if anyone playing for 2 months
Would
should
Would you be
be.
willing to push for a Patrick Wisdom?
I was just gonna get to that.
Okay.
Patrick Wisdom actually had a higher WRC plus than Dylan Carlson, and that's not the only stat I want to take away. But we saw the different things that Patrick Wisdom did, and Dylan Carlson had a fantastic year. Patrick Wisdom had more defensive runs saved at his primary position than Dylan Carlson. And just looking at the overall stats, he had a better xWOBA. He had a better WOBA. And I mean, when you're comparing these types of things, it's really
Yeah.
interesting to kind of, I don't know, get
Let
into
me
it just because I
let
feel like
me
some of
ask
my
you
Cubbies
this.
got snubbed.
Let me ask you this though. This is just objective, obviously, but let's just work with me here. Would you rather have uh all the difference say the difference of the Wobas and the ex Wobas and all that? Would you trade that for 47 more games of someone with the same exact OPS plus? Just
It's a fair argument.
I'm not saying agree or disagree. I just wanted to present it.
No, absolutely, I agree with that. I don't think Patrick Wisdom should be in it over
Okay.
Carlson. I hope that he was in consideration. That's all I'm asking for.
Okay. I mean, I think he'll probably be a top 6, maybe 7 in the rookie of the
Hmm.
year, which is very good. So I
Yeah,
mean, can't be angry at it. I get where you're coming from though. I hear you.
yeah, no, that's all I asked for. I mean, very similar players. Carlson had a better WAR, which is got to take that
Yeah.
into account a little bit.
You are.
Patrick Wisdom strikes out 40% of his plate appearances, which is ridiculous. I understand that. I understand Carlson walks more. I'm not arguing for Patrick Wisdom to be in this conversation. I'm just
Okay.
arguing, not arguing. I'm just hoping people recognize that he had a good year, and him and Carlson may be a little closer than people think. And as long as that's kind of recognized, I'm kind of fine with it. But we're arguing over some stupid stuff right now. The main thing was Frank. I don't know that one really. If Wander's in there, maybe slide Frank in there. But then again, you have Wander. I mean, Frank versus Carlson. Carlson played much longer. I wonder who they were considering to take out for Wander, just to see if it's justified. Um, but I do think it's justified that Wander's in the top three. It's
Mm.
just I'm curious to see who are the other options.
Yeah, I get that. I know that will come out eventually when they announce it. So because
Hmm.
when they pull out all the first place votes and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Moving on to AL Manager of the Year, we had Dusty Baker, Kevin Cash, and Scott Service. I think I got my winner. I want to hear what you have to say first, though.
Scott Service had a pretty good managing year in terms of
Hmm.
leading the Mariners to an almost playoff run.
Okay.
Um, before I say mine, do you like? I don't really know the situation. I'm assuming they don't really take playoff success or anything near the playoffs
No,
as
it's purely regular season. Well,
I
I mean,
mean,
it takes place after the postseason, but I don't think they're supposed to. But like the guys more fresh on their minds may have
mhm.
more of an advantage.
My question to you, it's called Manager of the Year.
Okay.
What exactly does that mean? Because it seems like a lot of the times the Manager of the Year is
Best
someone
team.
who that's what I'm getting at. It seems
Yeah.
like sometimes the Manager of the Year is the person whose team overachieved in terms of
Hmm.
a team that maybe won 95 100 games
Okay.
and but they were expected to. Anyway, what I'm getting to is I think Kevin Cash should win it. I mean,
Okay.
I just think that team is
That's fine.
unreal. I think he manages them extremely well. I don't think by looking at those names, you would think the Rays won 100 games. Uh, Dusty
I
Baker, yeah, the Astros are a good team, no doubt about it. And the Mariners came close. But if you pick the Mariners, that goes back to my question is are we picking this off teams that overachieved or teams that did the best? Because Kevin
okay.
Cash managed his team extremely well and they won 100 games.
So what the way I view it is I view it who got the most out of their players with the situation they were given and who did the best job and had the biggest effect on their team. Because
Okay.
I don't think it's necessarily fair to just pick the team with the best record every time because sometimes that manager may not be pulling as many strings as you think. I'm not saying that's the case for Kevin Cash because
I agree too. As someone for like someone like Dave Roberts, I don't think he should like be in the running every year just because
no,
he's
I
getting.
think unless they win like a crazy amount of games,
Mhm.
like I mean like 105 plus. I'm talking like,
Yeah,
but like yeah, you get what I'm saying.
yeah.
Uh, I personally have Scott Service just because I do not think that roster was very good at all, and I think
Hmm.
he did very well with getting the best out of a lot of his players. Um, I
That's
mean a lot
fair.
of their guys seem like not necessarily that they overachieved, but they kind of just came out of nowhere and did very well.
No, they
Ty
did
France,
overachieve
guy.
if you think about it.
Yeah,
They beat expectations. I guess is a better phrasing.
yeah. I didn't want to say yeah, I didn't want to say overachieved quite yet because if they go out again next year, then
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean he did well with his bullpen. Also, he had Paul Sewell do very well.
yeah.
There's another guy I'm forgetting his name. I don't know why. Uh, Either
I'm
way,
blanking. It's
I
been a
think
while.
he has a long name that goes like this. I forget.
Uh,
Um, I know,
no,
right?
I
Oh,
know what you're talking
Steckenrider,
about.
Drew
Yeah,
Steckenrider. That's what it
yeah,
is. He was very solid also, but I think Scott Service deserves it because I think this team probably should have won like 78 to 80 games. So I think he just made so much of a difference. Obviously, a manager can't do that much in all reality, but I think he got the most out of his players from what he could do.
yeah. No, I definitely could see that take. I think it's interesting going back to Kevin Cash.
Mm.
There's a lot of good players on that ball club, obviously, but there aren't a ton of like big household names,
No, no doubt.
and a lot of people who maybe don't pay attention as much to statistics or anything like that. They might think like, how are they doing this? I mean, I know we know some people who are like, how are they good?
Yeah,
Um, that's why I mean, I don't know. It's I'm not mad at all of your pick. I would be more mad if you said Dusty Baker because I feel like he has a gold mine in front of him,
yeah.
and they're just expected to do amazing. And I don't really think that should be the criteria. So I'm fine with either one of those, to be completely honest. Um, I just think Kevin Cash maybe, since I mean I guess they don't take into account the playoffs, but they dominated the hardest division in baseball for the whole year basically.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be mad at him at all.
Mhm. Yeah, that's fair enough. Going to the National League, we got Craig Counsell, Gabe Kapler, and Mike Schilt. To me, there's one choice. I'm curious to see if you have the same opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's got to be Gabe Kapler pretty easily.
Yep, yep, I agree.
Mike Schilt made it a little interesting in
Yeah,
September,
yeah,
uh, but I think Gabe Kapler. I mean, that team literally dominated, and I can't name a single person that even considered that as an option before the season. So
no, yeah, and Schilt is already out of his job, which
that would be kind
it,
of funny. That happened in the
it
NBA a
would.
few years ago with Dwayne Casey.
Yeah,
It's always an awkward situation
I
when
feel like that is the most ironic thing. How can you be manager of the year but then get let go? It makes no sense to me. If you're the manager of the year, you should be loved and you should be wanting to stay or whatever.
yeah.
The Giants were projected at what, like 75 wins,
Yeah, I mean
and
that's about what I had him at. Yeah, I had him third place.
yeah, and they won over 100 games, won the division over the Dodgers. I mean, there's just no comparison, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah,
And I know you said Gabe Kapler too, which I'm pretty happy about. They beat expectations by probably the largest margin out of any team this year. Um, and yeah, I mean, to me, it's clear cut. And I don't see how the writers mess this one up either. So I think we're pretty good there.
mm.
Um, moving on to some free agent talk. Two players. We're going to be talking about two players who we each think are getting that bag. Um, we'll talk about two players who aren't going to get the bag after that, but two
Well,
players who are going to be getting those fat stacks in free agency. I'm curious to see
uh,
who you think first.
yeah. Before we say it as a preface, we mean like from where they're expected to get, and then like it's all
Yeah,
relative to that player, you know. So like,
who's going to get more money than expected?
um,
Um,
man, I think, man, it's kind of tough, but I think Corey Seager does.
really, what would you say is the kind of expectation for him in terms of a contract?
Uh, you want my expected like above average thing, or do you want my like where
No, I
he
mean
should?
like what you think he should get as opposed to what you think he will get.
Okay. I think he gets around 180 million, or I
Mhm,
think he should get around like 130, 140,
mhm.
but I think he gets around like 180, maybe even
Yeah.
closer to 200.
Any particular team in mind? Maybe the
Yankees.
Pinstripes? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yankees.
I think so too. And I hate it, but I
It
think
just
so
it
too.
just feels it just feels so Yankees to
It
me. I
feels
don't
so
know.
right. So
Yeah.
wrong, but so right.
Yeah, that it is. Um, who's your first guy?
First guy, it's tough. I don't. I think I'm on. Before I say it, I think Carlos Correa for me falls almost on both sides of this because
Okay.
on one hand,
I
I
see
could
what you're
see
saying
him.
here.
I could see him getting paid, but then on the other hand, how many of these long extension 300 plus million contracts like pan out like as to plan?
Mhm.
I'm wondering to see if teams are a little bit reluctant on that, but I'm gonna steer more on the side of Carlos Correa gets a crazy amount of money this year. Like I don't like over 300 million. Um,
Okay.
I just see it, and I don't know who's gonna do it. I have some predictions. I mean, the Tigers are in that conversation. Maybe the Marlins. The Astros basically spit on his face. I don't think there's any chance he goes back now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, any other potential suitors you see for Correa?
Who did you say?
I said the Tigers and the Marlins are, and
Okay.
maybe the Rangers. Like those are the
Poss-
top three guys.
I could see the Yankees also being involved.
That's true.
Just flirt with both and see how it goes, you know.
Hmm.
But I just think Corey Seager eventually ends up there. I could see. I mean, nah. Now that I think about it, I don't know. I was gonna say the Mets maybe, but
Mm.
I have another potential option for
Yeah.
them. So, uh, besides that, I mean, it's kind of tough because when you're asking for that much money, there's not that many teams that really would be willing to spend that.
Yeah.
Like a team like the man. I mean, I think you kind of covered it. I don't really see who else can dish out that much money. I would say
Hmm.
the Phillies, but I don't think they'd be willing to dish that much out because they've already spent a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Who's your second guy you got?
My second guy, it's a little tough, but I think Nicholas Castellanos.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
gonna be my pick.
yeah, I think
I
I
think
think
with
he
the
gets.
universal DH, if it happens,
Yeah, I
I think
think
he's
he
gonna
gets like
take it.
120, $130 million over
I
like
do
a
think he
instead of
should
like a
get less
hundred.
though.
Yeah, I think he deserves probably like around 100, but I think he gets
Hmm.
120, 130 just based off bidding.
Yeah,
He's a Boris client, you know how that goes.
yeah, for sure. You kind of took my guy there. I'm curious. Instead of throwing out another name, do you think people like Eddie Rosario or Jock Peterson are gonna get more than they're supposed to get just because of the magic we saw in the postseason?
I mean, I don't think Eddie Rosario is necessarily the best player, so I
Hmm.
think he definitely probably gets paid more than he should, but that's just
Hmm.
my opinion. I think Jock Peterson sits around the same range he was this past year because
Okay.
he kind of just proved like what he got paid was exactly what he deserved and like
What he's worth? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He's a platoon player with some upside in October especially. So
Yeah. Agreed. Um, moving on to people who are going to get less than maybe what you would think. I'm going to say this. If the Mets don't get him, I think Baez is going to get paid less than what people think.
still in
Um,
line.
oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
funny.
I could see him. I mean, the Mets could pay up though and just want to lock down that middle infield. But
Yeah,
I don't think he's worth what he was asking for before, which was like what 160 million.
yeah.
While he was
I
with the Cubs, he was throwing those numbers
not
out
gonna
there.
lie. I think he gets half of that.
I'm thinking 80 to 90 as well.
Yeah,
I think being biased though, he cracks 100. Um,
man, that would be such an overpay in my opinion too. But some
it
I
it
could see it.
depends.
It
It
depends how many teams really want a shortstop that bad because there's four big guys, five if you include Simeon, and it's
Mhm.
kind of like, man, like is he the is I mean, he's got to be the last guy.
I mean, I can't really speak as a player. I would probably like put Story above him,
That's
but
what I mean.
the bias in me, I'm taking Javi all day just because I love him.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, I mean, a Trevor Story 100 million contract seems a little less crazy than a Javier Baez 100 million contract.
Yeah, I mean, I'd pay Trevor Story $100 million. I
Yeah,
wouldn't pay Javi
exactly.
100 million. But
Yeah.
so you went with Javi as your first one.
Hmm.
I think let's see. I think Anthony Rizzo gets less than what people would think.
Well, what is your number that you think is being thrown out there as in terms of like what people think he's going to get?
Around like 15 million ish, 13 to 15.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think he gets around a 10, 11 a year
Hmm.
for like maybe a couple year deal.
Yeah.
I think his last season kind of hurt his value quite a bit, especially playing in the American League and didn't really perform as much as you would expect. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's necessarily a bad player. I just don't think first basemen have a crazy market at this time. That's really the reason.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. And then I also would say we've seen like the first baseman big contracts
Not work out.
not work out. And someone like Anthony Rizzo, who is a big name and who is considerably above a lot of the competition in defense, he didn't
Yeah,
have that impressive of a defensive year. And it
yeah,
pains me because I love him.
mhm,
But he just didn't perform up to par. And I could have seen, let's say theoretically, um, Schwindel didn't go crazy.
mhm.
I could see the Cubs maybe paying a little bit for him
Yeah,
just to get him back. I don't think there's a chance in the world that happens now,
yeah,
but and it also doesn't seem like the Yankees want to just because they're exploring Matt Olson and other different people.
yeah.
Um, I would definitely agree
Maybe
with
they
that. And
come back. But yeah,
yeah, no, it's definitely in the realm of possibilities, but I think you're on the spot there in terms of Anthony Rizzo for sure.
yeah.
Um, my other guy, it pains me. and I hope it's not true, but there's been reports circling around.
Okay.
My favorite player, Chris Bryant.
What's
Um,
with the Cubs slander here? We keep going.
Hear me out. There's been reports surfacing
Okay.
that he could potentially get 5 years, 90 mil. And to me,
That's a
that
bargain.
is that's a steal. You're getting a guy who can play five positions and play all of them pretty well for someone who can play all five positions.
Mhm.
You're getting an excellent bat. He's 30 years old. He's a reigning MVP. We know the story, and he's a great player. You can't deny that. And I I don't see how he doesn't get a lot more than that. I think personally he's one of the most valuable players in the league in terms of probably like top 10, 15
Yeah.
position player wise. If you take into account the defense, this dude, it was like I forgot. It was like June or it was like end of June, and he for the Cubs he was playing the outfield, and he didn't play third base since like April. But he's a
Mhm.
third baseman. Like he opens up so many doors for your team,
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
he's I love him. Obviously, he's amazing, but I do think he's going to get a little underpaid. And to whatever team gets him, take care of him and enjoy your bargain.
Yeah. I think for my second guy, I have Carlos Rodon as not
Oh,
going
yeah,
to get.
I agree with that. We can talk about why the Sox didn't offer him a qualifying offer as well after you go.
Yeah. I think, man, this really pains me to say. I think there's obviously a reason the White Sox didn't do it, in my opinion.
I have my theory.
Yeah, my thing is I think teams are going to be too wary about his health and
Hmm.
not confident enough about his arm holding up full season. So
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to want at least like 2 or 3 years of at least $20 million a year, and
Hmm.
I think he probably gets around 15 to 16 AAV if that's what he wants to do. If not, I could see him accepting a 1 year deal for 18 to 20 possibly. But if he signs anything multi-year, it's not even going to be close to 20 million, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the Sox were scared that he would actually accept the offer.
Yeah,
Um, and they don't want to pay him that much, which is a totally fair argument. Um, it could be one of those arguments where he goes to another team and he doesn't get injured for a couple of years, and you're like, damn.
yeah, no doubt.
It's kind of a risk reward type of thing. The Sox have other pitchers. We all know this. Kopech is slotted to be in the rotation, who can take over the Rodon role. Um, it's tough. He's the one I'm really interested in seeing where he's going.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a crazy one. I think there's a few teams I have in my head that you might like, but
yeah,
uh,
I got the Red Sox as the front runners.
me
I like
too.
that. I
Also,
like that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
I have the Red Sox and the Cubs as my two suitors right now, but I could have
I would love that.
up here.
I would love that.
Possibly even the Yankees. I saw something about them wanting some starting pitching. So,
Do you like Rodon less if he goes to the Yankees?
um, I don't know. He kind of suits that team
He
personality wise.
does.
He's
Yeah,
got a
him
little
and
bit
Garrett
of
Cole would get along.
I don't know about that.
I feel like they
I was
both just show they're both just like hard asses. I don't know.
uh a little bit. Garrett's a little smug, but
Yeah,
yeah.
a
But
little bit of a p word.
I pre- I prefer him on Boston. I'll say that.
Yeah, I would agree. Um, yeah, that's definitely an interesting case for sure. Two players that are free agents or haven't accepted a qualifying offer, or whatever, that you want
Okay.
to see return to their team.
Can I make a
Um,
preface to this before we go?
yeah, go ahead.
Uh, can we not include Freddie Freeman?
Yeah, no, that's an easy one for sure.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You go ahead.
I'm gonna save one of them for you. I think you might say one of them. If not, we'll say it at the end. I'm gonna go
Um.
with.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking here. There's a lot of different people. I'm gonna go with Marcus Simeon. Um,
Okay.
I just think he's such a good player. It's really hard to let him go. He's up there in age a little bit, but he just had a fantastic season. And the Blue Jays should be in semi-win now mode, just with the team they have. You don't want to waste years of Vladdy, Bo. You might even want to try to get him and Robbie Ray back, depending on what you do in the other different
So
aspects of free agency. But yeah, go
I
ahead.
Do you think that they will, or is this you because you want them to?
This is personal.
Okay, okay,
It
okay.
could be. I mean,
Because I don't
me
think they.
personally, I don't think he goes back. No,
No,
that's
no, no.
why I really want them to re-sign him because I think he needs to be there. Uh, quite frankly, I mean they have a great team regardless, but he's very good.
Yeah. Uh, the first guy I have is Javi Baez. Um,
Really?
yeah, I think that was a match made in heaven as far as it goes. I
Oh,
think
the
he really.
booing.
I don't know. I think that just kind of became a meme at some point. I don't think that
Mhm.
was ever like too big of a deal. I think
Yeah,
him and Lindor like playing together a lot. I think they liked him a lot. He performed while he was there. He's got that New York personality. So I mean, I feel like it just kind of works. In
yeah.
my opinion, I don't think anyone else pays him more than the Mets probably will either, because they're trying to win and they're trying to win now. There's no reason to let one of their best players from last year leave. You know.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. It seems like he's gonna. If I were him, I would think that he was gonna try. He's gonna try super hard to stay on that team just because he how much of the connection he has with Lindor and
Yeah.
how much he kind of pushed for that. I think the Mets are gonna go after the shortstops, and I do think they make Baez their priority,
Hmm.
which is interesting. The Mets have also talked to Chris Bryant too, so depending on what bargain they get, maybe they get both. You never know. You never know what they'll pull out of their pocket, but I don't think that's even possible. Um,
They're desperate, so you never know if
yeah,
they trade JD
that would
Davis
be
in
crazy
the slot.
for sure. Um, one guy for me, pretty under the radar, may not even be a good reason. I'm going Brandon Belt, just
Okay.
because when I think of the Giants and all I've seen throughout my childhood, I think of Tim Lincecum, Baumgartner, Brian Wilson, Posey, Pablo Sandoval, and Brandon Belt. Like Brandon Belt's in that category where like I feel like he needs to be a Giant for the rest of his career. He's just
That's fair.
I just love seeing him in that uniform, and I feel like the fans love him. I think he loves it, and he might not be the best player right now, but he's a Giant in my opinion.
Hmm.
There's no other reasoning I have besides I would like to see him in the same uniform.
Yeah. So I agree with you there. It's your reasoning's pretty funny, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's no way he's gone. There's just no chance. I wouldn't believe it. Um, Same goes for my second pick. One of the best pitchers to ever step foot on a mound, the best
That's the
pitcher
one
of
I
our
was saving
generation.
for you. Yeah.
I saved the best for last.
Yeah.
The best pitcher of our generation. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw. Uh, I mean, I don't need I say less. He needs to stay a Dodger for life, and
He
they'd be stupid not to.
that would actually like hurt me as a baseball fan who grew up with seeing him pitch.
Yeah,
Um he's the best pitcher we've seen as we've matured,
yeah,
and he's definitely a big part of both our childhoods, and I know he's your favorite player.
yeah.
There's no way I can see him pitching in another uniform, and I
If he's
really
in a
don't want him to.
if he's in a Rangers uniform next year, I will be so disappointed because they're
Yeah.
not going to be contending at all whatsoever
No.
for probably most of the length of the contract. So it'd be like, man, that would suck. That would really
That
suck.
would I love that guy. He's a class act as well.
Yeah,
Very good person.
he was one of
Unfortunately
the most
dealing with some
intense guys
issues.
on the mound you'd see.
Oh yeah, for sure. His whole wind up in general is different and it's intense, which you love.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He might be besides Freddie Freeman, he might be he definitely is the one I couldn't see, sorry, in a different
yeah.
uniform. Him and Freddie Freeman are at the top of that tier.
Yeah, I give it a 70% chance he's back in Dodger blue next year.
Yeah, I hope so for sure. Um, two players you want to see change teams.
Okay.
This is pretty interesting because most of them will change. Maybe I don't
Mm.
know, depending on what happens. Number one for me, I think I made this pretty clear. I want to see Max Scherzer pitching the day before Shohei Ohtani. I want him to be on the Angels. I feel like that would elevate them. I always say this: they need to make other moves in the pitching realm, in the starting department, and also in the bullpen.
Mhm.
The key there is getting that guy, and the
Yeah,
one-two punch of him and Otani with all the hitters they have. I mean, come on, wouldn't you love to see the Angels run that division? I mean, even though the Mariners are in there, everyone loves the Mariners, but imagine seeing Trout, Otani, Scherzer, Rendon, all in the playoffs. Like, I
Adele.
mean,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
Adele's, yeah,
um, for my guy, it's a bit of a weird one here because there's some guys that are leaving. But
yeah.
I have Michael Conforto. I
Hmm.
think he could be very interesting on another team. I think.
A team like the White Sox.
I mean, very well, very well. Not gonna try not to include bias here, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'd really enjoy that. I'd say. But I think they just need to split. I'm sick of seeing him and Brandon Nimmo together. I don't know what it is.
What are they? Just a copy of the same player for you? Can't really tell them
Kinda,
apart.
kinda.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just kind of my reasoning there. I don't know. I want to see how Conforto would do in a different environment because I've only ever seen him with the Mets. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. That's I I I would say probably right now I would like to see him in a Phillies uniform.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I see that.
I do think the White Sox will make some sort of push for him, and it makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
you explained it to me a couple days ago on the rationale, and it did make sense. He's definitely a solid player that could help you guys out and fill that need.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, that's another one really really interesting because he's not a big name guy, but he's solid, and he could be the acquisition that changes a team. You never know, which
No
is
doubt. Yeah.
um, for another player I want to see leave, Anthony Rizzo. Get him out of New York. I think New York doesn't appreciate him. I think he fake smiles every time he was in that dugout. He was wearing Cubs batting gloves the whole time. He gave Jock Peterson his bat. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to stay connected with the city of Chicago. And I don't think the Cubs have any real chance of getting him. But I want him somewhere else where they're gonna appreciate him. And I don't know where I get this notion that they didn't appreciate him. I just feel it from the Yankee fans that I can just feel that they didn't appreciate the most lovable guy in the league. Next to Shohei Ohtani, in my opinion. I mean, I love Rizzo, obviously, but I want to see him in a different uniform. I haven't really thought about what teams um I would like to see him in. Maybe if the Giants don't get Brandon Belt, a Rizzo on the Giants would be a little interesting. Um,
Okay.
maybe uh, maybe the Dodgers. Maybe
Uh-huh.
Muncy moves over to second while Trey takes over. Um, I don't know. I don't know where he would go. But it doesn't feel right seeing him in a Yankee uniform. I don't like it.
Yeah, I understand. Um, so this is kind of saying the opposite of what you were saying before, but I have Marcus Simeon as my second one.
Mm,
I think the options as far as him being able to play second base, like as him like he's been willing to in the past, obviously.
mhm,
So I I think it would be very interesting for him to go to another team because there's so many different options going to have, and I was thinking about including him as he's going to get more than people think just because of his
mhm,
age. I
mhm.
think he's super valuable to a team, and I I don't I don't know. I feel like he can do so much that the Blue Jays aren't going to be able to keep up with the other teams just
Yeah,
because of their location and the taxes in Canada and all that stuff.
yeah. I do think he leaves, but I would love to see him stay. But your reasoning makes total sense. I mean, if he goes to another contender, he could be he could be the difference maker. I mean, he had a 7.8 WAR season. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. 40 plus bombs. I mean, he's a really good player, and as you saw, a top three MVP candidate. That has to add that has to add a few bucks to his checkbook.
No doubt.
Yeah,
He's
very
gonna
excited to see
get.
where he goes. Looking, we could just go through the divisions real quick and kind of go through each team pretty swiftly and kind of just say who you think's gonna land there in terms of free agency. Um, if you want to
Okay.
do that, we could start out with the NL West,
Okay. Uh,
and yeah, you could take it away.
so for the NL West, I'm not gonna go with an obvious pick. I'll go with Cesar Hernandez.
Hmm.
Go- going
Wow.
to, yeah, I know, right? Getting real crazy, but I could see him going to the Giants. I
Interesting.
I don't
Okay.
know. I'm not gonna say I have much reasoning there, but I just have a weird feeling. He just feels like a Giants player to me.
we were just stuck on this guy. I I do think there's a chance that Marcus Simeon goes to the Giants, and I kind of like that move. And
Okay. He's been on the West Coast.
yeah, I do think they have a need at second base, a relative need there, and depending on who else they get back, if they're looking like that same team again, adding Marcus Simeon, that's huge, and I would love to see him there. I think he would fit quite well over there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just looking at other teams, I don't, do you think the Padres are going to make a ton of moves, or do you think they're kind of set in who they
I think
have?
they could make a move here or there.
I think they need a bullpen piece.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm scared about them going for this guy, but I think they could go for a guy like Ryan Tepera,
Mm, yeah.
which I don't like. I'd appreciate if everyone forgot about him until next March, until
Mhm.
everyone besides the White Sox. But
and the
um,
and the team that raised him. Come on now, we made him into the man he was. But I could see
no,
them going for like a Chafin as well.
yeah,
Just
I I,
one of
I get that.
just a guy that like he's not the big name. He's not the Rysel Iglesias or Kenley Jansen, but he's kind of like he was really solid and he could really help out a team.
Yeah, they also have Melanson as a free agent, so I
Yeah.
think they're gonna look to replace him. They might make a push for Iglesias. Who knows?
Hmm. Yeah.
They that would feel pretty good for them. Obviously, he's a
Yeah.
monster. But,
I don't think the Dodgers make too many moves in terms of bringing people in, maybe bringing people back.
yeah.
But in terms of signing new people, I don't know if they make a ton of moves.
Nah, Chris Taylor's gone. Joe Kelly probably gone. Kenley Jansen and Clayton Kershaw probably back, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, I would agree with that. I think there's a bigger chance than most people think that Kenley's gone, but
Yeah,
he's
no,
kind of
no, that's
someone I
fair.
want to see back, and he's someone I want to see back in a Dodger uniform for
I
sure.
think he stays, in my opinion. But yeah, I definitely could see him gone. Yeah. The Dodgers. I mean, they could get like a Brooks Raley maybe, or
Hmm.
Kendall Graveman, something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see them making anything catastrophic or anything. But if there's some sort of trade talks or something going on, I wouldn't count them out. Just put
Yeah,
it
for
out there.
sure. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I mean, the Rockies. I mean, 1 year deal after 1 year deal, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
They might be losing more people than they're bringing in.
yeah, probably. Diamondbacks about the same. Maybe some smaller moves here or there. Like I mean, maybe like a Brian Goodwin or Brett Gardner.
Yeah. Wow. Heavy hitters.
I know, right?
Um,
Freddie
yeah.
Galvis, maybe. Well, they have Nick
Yeah.
Ahmed, so probably not. But you see what I'm getting at.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We
Uh,
can move on to the NL Central.
yeah.
This one's interesting. I'll let you go first here.
Okay. I'll just give a rundown of the teams and like a player that would go there or that I think could go there.
Mm.
Um, Cardinals. I'll start with potentially Max Scherzer.
Hmm.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I think more of a realistic option is maybe a Kevin Gausman or a Zach Greinke. That feels more them.
Hmm.
Um, Otherwise, I mean, I don't really see them adding too much as far as position players go. Uh, see, Pirates about the same as the Diamondbacks and Rockies. Reds are gonna shed more, most likely. Maybe some smaller moves. I could see like a
Hmm.
Jonathan Villar maybe or an Eduardo Escobar.
Hmm.
Maybe one of those World Series guys to replace the Castellanos.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cubs, I think will very possibly get Trevor Story in my opinion.
Mm.
I just feel like that's a good match.
Yeah.
Um, and I think like there aren't going to be a lot of shortstop needy teams for the amount of studs that there are out there. So I think there's going to be some bargains out there with what guys have to take. Maybe even potentially some 1 year deals
Yeah. I mean,
to wait it out another year.
yeah, you know how much every day I boast about how optimistic I am. Jet
Yeah.
said he's making moves. I think he's making moves, whether that's Trevor Story, whether that's Castellanos, whether that's someone like Marcus Stroman.
Mhm.
Just these names. I mean, he could go one of two ways. He could get a bunch of the good people, like in terms of like a Stroman and like other pieces,
Yeah.
or does he? Is he talking about he's going to go for Baez? He's going to go for Seager. He's going to go for Story. He might even go for Correa. Like I'm sure they're considering it in terms of throwing it out there, seeing how he responds. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
It's
just looking at like I don't know how to interpret. He said he's going to go heavy.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I'm steering more to the side of we are not going to have our fans watch us be negative for the next 3, 4 years again. Or we have some people in the organization who are going to help, and then also people coming up. Why not give our fans a decent experience? We've suffered enough. We lost everyone at the trade deadline. I don't. I could talk about it for hours, but I think
Yeah.
you're right in Trevor's story. Although he's probably the one I would want least.
Yeah, I know
Um,
you have not been high on him, but I like him a lot. And I just feel
no,
like I feel like
he's a great player.
yeah.
Obviously, we're both taking Correa and Seager over him,
No
and then
doubt, yeah.
just the love for Baez changes it. Like, would you have the same opinion if it was Tim Anderson versus Story? Would you say
No.
like
Uh,
let's
honestly, no. I'm
no?
very I
I
know
don't
it
think the
sounds messed
difference is
up.
big enough. You know what I
I,
mean?
I, yeah, I see what you're saying there. It's just I
If
I'm
you're talking
personally
Baez or Correa, yes,
yeah, yeah,
Correa.
obviously, yeah. I just it I want the better player in almost every scenario. I guess with Tim Anderson in our situation, he's very I don't
He's
know,
comparable. He's not like he's like worse than him. Like
he's
in
like
a
the kind of like the one untouchable guy in the team just because of the leadership and stuff he has. But
mhm.
besides that, like if Tim Anderson was like a quiet guy and he didn't speak up that much and he was kind of just there and he was what he is with the skill, I think I would just pick Story. So I guess I see what you're saying a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
but we didn't talk about the Brewers. I could definitely see them getting a guy like Jock Peterson to replace obviously
I think they need a guy like
Ocasio
Jock
Garcia.
Peterson.
Yeah,
Yeah, they need a heavy hitter. Their
yeah.
hitting's not great,
No, it's
and
not.
they're
That was their biggest flaw, obviously. But
yeah, and their pitching and bullpen are fantastic. It's
or a little sneaky would be Chris Taylor, I think.
that would fit really well. I hope they
Yeah,
don't though. I do not want to see him
yeah.
every
I
couple weeks.
I just kind of thought of that right now, but a little Chris Taylor on
Yeah,
their team feels right.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I want him really bad. I love him, and I think he's really good.
Yeah, for sure.
I would love to see him, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Um, someone who can help out in multiple positions. I think their outfield is kind of a mess. First
It
of all,
is.
you
They have
have
Yelich,
yeah,
obviously, and then what else?
Garcia's a free agent. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm not.
that's who I have Jock replacing.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jackie Bradley Jr.
Mess.
terrible hitter.
Absolute
Really good
mess.
defender, but he's injured sometimes and he's just not producing at the plate. I don't want him in my lineup.
He was like he's had years where he's been fine, but
Hmm.
this past year was man, that was bad.
Yeah,
That's just inexcusable, and you can't really have a guy like that in your lineup. I don't care how
yeah.
good your defense is. It's literally it was awful. Like he
I think
literally had a
Jorge Soler would
4.97
fit that
OPS.
team.
Yeah, hopefully with the DH that would be nice. But
Yeah,
yeah, I could see that.
yeah.
Maybe an Eddie Rosario, but I wouldn't like that for them honestly.
Hmm. Yeah,
uh, I prefer more pop.
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, moving on to the NL East. I'll let you go first on this one. Oh wait, did you even say your NL Central? My bad.
Yeah, for most of them. I do think the Cardinals make a little push for a shortstop in terms of just
Mhm.
fielding offers.
Yeah,
Um, I definitely see them getting Scherzer or like you said, Gosman. I think that's a really good take. I think they do get a big pitcher.
yeah.
I'm not sure who it's going to be, but I do think they do get one.
Ooh, I'm just thinking about it. Flaherty, Wayno, and then one of the pitchers would be really nice for them.
Yeah, and even
That's a
are any
really
of
good
the other
call.
ones a free agent because they have Carlos Martinez, who's not
Uh,
great,
yeah.
but he's shown
Kim is
flashes.
still there, I believe.
And
Hap and Lester were free agents.
Martinez is a free agent.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And then Hap and Lester obviously free agents.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I mean they had Michaelis or they have Michaelis, and
I think they still do.
he's shown a little bit of
Yeah,
flashes.
he's
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
he's nothing
I
special, but he's not bad. You know.
no, I would definitely agree. Looking at the NL East, um, it's interesting. I think a lot of these teams are going to make pushes.
Mhm.
Marlins, or let's start with the Marlins. Do you think the Nationals are going to make any game changing decisions?
No, it's kind of like in that
Yeah,
category of sign Pete Cosma and Joe Panic and
yeah, yeah,
with all those
exactly. Yeah.
guys.
Um, Going to the Marlins, they do need outfield help.
Yeah,
Um, But like we said before, they could potentially get Carlos Correa, which is interesting.
Yeah. My guy for them that I really was heavily thinking is a reunion with Starling Marte.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I mean,
He's a
fit and
he's
he
a
was
really
there
underrated player.
with them before. Yeah, exactly. I could definitely see him liking the Miami weather and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
they just have a good atmosphere in that clubhouse
Hmm.
also in general. So I could see him wanting to be back.
Yeah, they have a really up and coming team as well. They
Yeah,
they
for
can, they
sure.
can be really good in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Um, moving on to the Mets. We've talked about different things they could get. Chris Bryant's a name that's been thrown out there. Um, quick question: do you think Syndergaard comes back?
I believe so.
Yeah, me too.
He is. He's. I mean, it's gonna be a 1 year,
Hmm.
and no doubt because I don't see who's giving him multi years for enough AAV for him to make it worth it for him. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited to see him back. He's
he
fantastic when he's
he could
healthy.
potentially get like over $20 million a year if he pitches well enough this year. So
Yeah, yeah. We've talked about Baez on that team. Um, yeah, I don't really know if anyone else is missing. I could see, like you said, Conforto could be gone.
yeah,
Um,
maybe an Avisail Garcia to replace
yeah,
him.
maybe they spend money in the bullpen.
Yeah,
Um,
I could see them making a push at a guy like Kyle Schwarber, maybe.
okay,
Maybe
yeah,
Mark Hanna.
mm, yeah,
Wouldn't be
no,
mad at that.
yeah, for sure. Mark Canha is a really good player as well.
And
That maybe doesn't get enough credit.
I
Um,
wanted to bring him up earlier, but yeah, I like him a lot.
yeah, yeah, really solid player. Um, going to the Phillies. A couple names have been thrown around. Do you think anyone big goes to them?
I think this is Mark Hanna's place.
Okay.
I feel like that makes sense. Replace McCutcheon.
Yeah, no, I could
He
definitely see
slots
that.
right in and is a slight up, a big upgrade
Hmm. Yeah,
for
for sure.
what he provides all around.
I could see them making a little push for someone like
Uh huh.
Trevor Story
Yeah.
or Baez, possibly, depending on what the Mets do.
Uh-huh.
They need a shortstop. I mean, why not? Who knows what they're gonna do? But maybe they add another pitcher, just to kind of balance out that rotation. Even
Yeah,
they have some really good starters.
I could see
Um,
like an Alex Wood or
yeah,
something like
exactly.
that.
Like no one
Anthony
crazy.
Crisolafani. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
I like that for
someone
them
to
actually.
give, yeah, and other hitters just around Harper.
Yeah,
Because you don't want to waste these years. Like I said, you paid him so much money. You can't be missing the playoffs with him.
yeah, for sure. Do you see the Braves really doing anything, or are they gonna stick with what they got
I think as
besides
much as
City?
as much as I want to see him stay, I think the Braves could get Robbie Ray, and
Ooh, I like that.
that rotation would be nuts. I
Chef's kiss.
mean, yeah, it's crazy. I really do have a feeling they get like him or Gosman. I think they do get an above average to
I,
short like just under the elite tier. Even though Robbie Ray was elite, I don't know if you would throw him into that conversation.
I,
Um, yeah, I don't know. You go.
they give me some potential Zach Greinke vibes too.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
like I think they like those kinds of pitchers. Obviously with Charlie Morton. I mean he's a little more dominant than Greinke is, but same
yeah,
sort of older wily vet who can lead a team. You know.
yeah. No, I'm excited to see what they do, and I'm also interested to see who they bring back. In terms of
For
you
sure.
have all these people that helped you out and win a World Series. I don't know. I don't think Jock stays. I don't think Rosario stays, and I'm not sure about Soler. I think
But
maybe
where's the
one out of those
question?
three.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got Christian Patchy, who's
Yeah.
maybe hasn't been amazing, but he was a highly touted prospect. You can't give up on him. He
Yeah.
definitely has some
He's a
upside.
great
And then
defender also.
yeah,
He's gonna push Acuna to right field. So
yeah, and that's saying something. I mean, Acuna is a pretty decent fielder. And it's Ronald Acuna. I mean, you don't want to um have to move him where he's not comfortable. But if someone's good enough, put him. I was excited for him when he was coming up. Christian Patchy, that is. He was
yeah.
really highly touted, and I think similar to like a Joe Adell type, who maybe hasn't shown exactly what we thought.
Hmm.
I'm still pretty optimistic on both those guys. Um,
Yeah.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
them.
There's another guy I like that they have is Drew Waters.
Yeah,
He's a really solid player too. He
yeah,
didn't really have the best of minor league seasons last year, but he's somewhat close. So that's a guy they might want to rely on for some depth later on the season.
yeah, for sure. Um, just looking at the AL, I think this is totally random, and I just noticed it.
Okay.
I think this league could be a lot more balanced come by the end of free agency.
Oh yeah.
You think look at just quickly going back to the National League.
Okay.
Um, Obviously you have Giants, Dodgers, Padres. Forget about the rest. You probably have like Brewers, Cardinals, maybe Cubs, maybe Reds. They're kind of you never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But then you have teams who are totally out of it, like the Marlins. They could potentially fight for something. The Mets, I think we both have going very deep into next year's playoffs, and then the Phillies and Braves.
Mhm.
And then going to the American League, just looking at it, the Astros, the Mariners, the A's are there. And then you have the Angels who can make a big move. And then you have the Rangers who have been linked to a ton of different people. That division could be sneaky good.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a there's a lot of variables in play here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just man, it's so weird. I can't really think of a year where there's been this many rumored bad teams in quotations willing to spend money. So it brings a certain element of you don't really know, because it's not
Yeah.
just the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox spending this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think the Rangers, they've been linked to a ton of people? Do you think they land any of them? That's the question.
Are you talking about the starting pitchers or the shortstop too? Or the
Everyone.
shortstop?
Everyone.
Um, I don't think they land any of the starters personally.
Mhm.
I I don't even think they land any of the shortstops
I
either.
think it's
I
all
don't think
talk,
so either.
dude. I
I
think it's all talk.
they're gonna end up with they're gonna end up with like Kyle Seager and Jose Iglesias and then be like, all right,
Yeah.
what's that?
Like you said before, if they walk away with only getting Kershaw and he's stuck in that uniform, God, so help me God.
Him and Nolan Ryan are just gonna be sitting there the whole season just chilling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that I don't see why they would even I don't know. I don't see them getting multiple really good people, which
No,
doesn't bode well for their future. Going to the
no,
Angels,
they're still
I mean, you
building.
can finish. Yeah, yeah. They are still building, and they do have some pieces. Sam Huff is someone I'm really excited for.
Mhm.
Really good MLB The Show card, but he was also hitting 500-foot tanks in real life, which is I want to see that.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good addition. Moving to the Angels real quick. I do think they make moves. Oh, like I said, my bold prediction is they get Scherzer. I think they can get, let's say theoretically, if they don't get Scherzer, I think they can get someone like a Gosman, a Stroman, along those lines. And then maybe a little bit of bullpen help. Maybe they re-sign Rysel. Maybe he's asking for too much. Who knows? I do think they make a decent amount of moves.
Yeah, I have them getting someone a little lower scale. I have them getting Eduardo Rodriguez, which is
Yeah,
perfectly
that's a
fine.
fair prediction. Yeah.
Yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez, and then someone say like a Danny Duffy or something like that.
Hmm.
Someone like lower tier, but
Yeah.
it also improves from what they usually have. So
It improves drastically, even
yeah,
though they're
exactly.
two not amazing pitchers.
Yeah, I think
They
Eduardo
improve.
Rodriguez is a really solid three, and
Yeah.
but yeah,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Athletics. I think they're going to be more of sellers. We've
yeah,
already
sadly,
heard. Yeah, we've already heard Matt Olson links. They're not going to get Starling Marte back. Probably.
yeah.
I'm assuming.
You heard
Um,
there was also a report about Bassett, Manaya, and Montas
yeah. Yep.
listening to offers on
And
them.
Montas was amazing this year.
Yeah, and Bassett
And
was too before he had
yeah,
the
before you
bad.
guys ruined. Yeah. Um,
Alright.
where do you think Montas goes? I mean, that's interesting. I
Man,
wonder.
what kind of package does he command?
I don't even know.
I could
Really
see,
solid player though.
man, like I could see a team like the Padres
Do you think so? Because they have
potentially.
they have
I know they
they
have
have
a lot of guys.
Snell, Darvish, Clevenger, Musgrove,
Yeah,
Lament,
but
Paddock.
I could see them be willing to dish off Paddock or Lamette just because they're not confident
Yeah,
enough in them. And they seem like one of those front offices that seem to get really antsy really fast.
mm-hmm.
Like they seem like they have to keep up with LA, and now that San Francisco's in the mix, they're a little wary. I think
Yeah,
they're kind of they're kind of pushing it, and especially since they got Bob Melvin, that might add an aspect of like, I like this guy, let's get him.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of just throwing out theories, but I could see that as being an option potentially.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. I think the Padres. I know I predicted them to do really well. Did you have the same prediction, or do you have that same feeling, or how's that
Um,
going?
I had it. I had them around 95 wins, so I guess you could say that's pretty good.
That's pretty
I had,
good compared
I
to
had the
what they ended
Dodgers
with.
at like 103 or 104, and then I had them at around mid 90s.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely see that. And obviously someone like Montas would help. That's another interesting one for sure. Mariners, I do think they make maybe not a splash. If I'll say this, if they do make a splash, I am very confident it's going to be Marcus Simeon.
Ooh.
If they don't make a splash, I think it's going to be a bunch of good pieces that
Okay.
round out that team.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I could see them being a dark horse for potentially, very potentially, a guy like Chris Taylor maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a good
I
one.
feel like I feel like he would fit well with them. Maybe even
Yeah.
a Starling Marte,
Hmm.
but I
They
don't
do have a
think
lot of
they're.
outfielders though.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm not sure on if anyone's a free agent to be honest.
yeah, I wasn't really thinking about the who they have at what position because they've been known to just dish guys out like nothing and just make a million trades. So
Yeah.
no one's ever really safe. Like Mitch Haniger's been on the trading block for like it feels like 4 years. So
Hmm.
uh, I mean, I definitely could see them like dishing out an outfielder and then adding one
Yeah.
just because they
And
feel like he's better or something or they get good value for the other guy.
yeah, agreed. Going to the Astros, I think I think they lose Verlander to the Tigers. I think they
Okay.
lose Correa to the Tigers.
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
who else? Is there anyone else of note?
Uh oh, the Astros. They
Yeah,
have Greinke,
you're right.
Brooks
Grunke was a
Raley,
really good
and
fit for the Braves, like you said.
yeah, they have Brooks Raley and Kendall Graveman also, along with Yimi
Yeah,
Garcia too. So they're
I
losing.
think the Astros lose more than they get back.
Yeah, I think so too. Did you see the offer that they gave Korea?
It was laughable. It
Yeah,
was
it was kind of
terrible.
like, I mean, that's like that's like Trevor Story money, maybe. I mean,
Literally a little bit overpriced, but yeah, what like you have to know he's not looking for that,
yeah,
right?
he's not taking a hometown discount to stay there. I'm
That's
sorry. Like
crazy.
this is his one payday.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially his one payday, but
Hmm.
I mean, he's just gonna take whoever has the most money for him.
Yeah, agreed. AL Central time, the Twins. I think they lose Buxton. Did you just sneeze?
Okay.
I didn't see.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Oh, okay, bless. No, I just want to say bless you.
Thank
Um,
you.
no, I think they lose Buxton though. And I love that move because I want to see him on another team. And I'm sure you do too. I mean, not that the Twins like a huge threat to the Sox, but like probably
But I'd
wouldn't want to play
appreciate
him.
not seeing him. No, I mean every time we play him, it's just like, oh, there's Byron Buxton. There's a triple down the line. Oh, there's a
Yeah.
home run. Yeah, it's just every game, or he's just taking away those for us. So yeah,
Hmm.
I mean he can go as far away from the AL Central as he wants.
Do you think there's a chance for potential Nelson Cruz return? I have my Nelson Cruz prediction, but some people are saying the
No,
Twins.
no, I don't like that. I really
Yeah,
don't.
I don't think it makes
I
sense.
think I
Also,
think they should relegate Miguel Sano to DH, but that's just me.
maybe I should just release him. I don't know.
I mean,
No,
maybe, but
no,
I mean,
he
he's
provides a
fine.
little value hitting, but fielding, you might as well just get a chair out there. Like, there's no movement there, which is a
Yeah,
little concerning.
yeah, I'm not liking him there. That's why I'm saying he should just take that over. If they plan on keeping him around longer term, I don't see a reason for him to
Hmm.
even see the field, honestly. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, the Twins, do they spend? I don't think so. I could see them picking up some I don't want to say rinky dinky starting pitching, but some lower tier starting pitching, like maybe like a Johnny Cueto, Corey Kluber, something like that.
hmm.
That's just kind of been their method, even when they were trying to win last year.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they thought J.A. Happ was gonna plug every hole they had. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Schumacher. So they're gonna
Angels
stick to that
legend.
sort of method.
Yeah.
Facts. But
What
yeah,
are your thoughts on the Royals? I'm kind of confused on what this team is trying to do right now.
I mean, I don't see much for them either. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
I could see maybe like a Tommy Pham,
Hmm.
uh, maybe Corey Dickerson, something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing too out there.
Just
Kyle
putting the
Seager
pieces
could be
together.
cool, I guess. Yeah, just kind of like 2018 White Sox ish.
Mm-hmm.
2019 more so.
Was that the Encarnacion when that whole thing happened with getting all those random people? That was
Encarnacion.
2019 when the White
Are you
Sox
talking
like
about
got.
Yonder Alonso and John Jay?
No, it wasn't. Didn't they get
Yeah,
like a bunch of people like one year?
we had Encarnacion and Nomar Mazara last year, if that's what you're referring
That
to.
was last year. Wow.
Yeah, we had Encarnacion in the playoffs.
I don't know. That just blows my
He was
mind to
supposed
be
to be our
honest.
DH.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought you guys got
he
him in
was our DH.
2019.
No, no. We
Oh
that was the
wow.
year he was with it. He got traded to the Yankees when he was leading in the league in home runs.
That's crazy that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It feels like forever
Holy.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, go
Yeah.
on.
So, who was I talking? I was talking about the Royals, right? Yeah, it feels 2019 White Sox like they're gonna
Yeah.
get some guys that maybe we could be okay.
Mhm.
Sleeper Anthony Rizzo place, by the way. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, it feels like it makes sense. I mean, if he doesn't get somewhere where he can contend, I feel like
Yeah.
they could pay him would around that. Uh, I mean, besides that, maybe like Eduardo Escobar, Kyle Seager, something like that. Nothing
Mm,
too crazy. They need someone to replace Hunter Dozier. He's just not good.
no.
Uh, so I mean, they have holes all around. They could go for like a Tommy Pham. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
nothing too crazy. Some bullpen arms possibly. Hector Neris maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be hearing too much noise from them. Well, who
No.
knows? You never know. But um, the Tigers are an interesting one. Obviously, as I've stated before, I think they're gonna get Verlander and Correa, or at least one of them.
Uh-huh.
I think they're gonna make decent amount of moves.
Yeah, I have the Tigers possibly getting. I think I don't know about Verlander. I could definitely see it, but I have this is potentially a Marcus Stroman spot.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
I, I,
I like
I
that.
think I think they need this is their kind of Dallas Keuchel esque signing.
Hmm.
I mean obviously it's a different player, different situation and all that, but it's kind of like their reliable guy per se. Not necessarily like a complete ace or anything like that, but a guy that's gonna give you good innings consistently on a week to week basis and a start to start basis, and he's gonna he's gonna teach the guys the young pitching that they have. He's gonna help them learn the ropes a little bit. Help them get settled in, give them some pointers and stuff like that. And I think he works well in that clubhouse.
Yeah, no, I definitely think getting a starter that's at least good is definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Something that needs to happen because they
Mhm.
do have a lot of young guys that are actually pretty good,
Mhm.
and the Tigers are going to be a good team
Yeah.
in
And
the next 3 to 4 years.
not all of them are going to pan out, so they need someone that's going to be somewhat
Yeah,
consistent, you know?
yeah, exactly. I'm excited for what they do. I do think something crazy happens with them.
Yeah.
Um, would you like Correa? All right, like I know you guys are gonna face him a ton because
Yeah,
all you
yeah,
guys do is play the Tigers.
yeah. I'll
But
be
no,
unbiased here.
yeah. Would you like to see him in the Tigers uniform?
I think it's a perfect fit.
Yeah,
I think that's a gaping hole that they have in their team.
yeah.
They've, yeah. I mean,
I mean, come on.
all right, all right. Settle down here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's a perfect fit for them. They're building like that Astros 2.0 over there, so I definitely could see it. Him and AJ are definitely on good terms, and they're willing to spend money, as everyone knows. I know they don't have Dave Dombrowski over there anymore, but their owners have always showed willingness to dish out the cash when they need to. So I don't think this is any different, especially when they see a glimmer of hope coming from last year. So I think they're going to pounce on it, and Correa is going to be the main guy when it comes
yeah.
to that.
I'm excited for them. Um, Indians. I think.
Right?
I
Call
think
me.
they. I think they. I'm sorry. The Guardians. I think if it's not in the off season, it's by the trade deadline. Jose
Okay.
Ramirez will not be in that uniform. I think they need to dish him and get a haul for him, and I think he carries that value.
I don't know why he's on the team now. I really
Hmm.
don't. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know why he was here before the year. I don't know why he wasn't gone at the deadline. I don't know. I get that he might want to stay and all of that stuff, but him staying here and just wasting his prime years, just it's not it's kind of infuriating, honestly.
Hmm.
Like it's like I want to see Jose Ramirez in the playoffs. I want to see him contending for a pennant. I want to see him contending in September at least.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to happen for the Indians for quite a while, in my opinion. I don't see many positives on this team besides Shane Bieber, Zach Plesac, Aaron
I'll
Savale,
say.
and Emmanuel Clase. I mean,
Yeah.
even James Karinchak didn't pan out. So
He was terrible second half.
that's not even like him giving up runs isn't even the worst thing. Instead, his K
No.
rate went down so much, and
Yeah.
that's not good for him. But because
No.
that's primarily what he does since he walks a lot of guys. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, I could see them getting like a Jake Lamb possibly or something like that. Play like left field.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like I'm just John Jay.
Just
I,
Steven Souza to round it out.
yeah, something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Ryan Goodwin feels pretty good for them, which is
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. You can just take it away with the next one.
Oh, the White Sox.
Yeah.
Well, there's many guys that I want on this list, obviously.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna, man, this is tough. I had my decision made up until right now. uh, man, I'm feeling Trevor Simeon.
Trevor Simeon.
Yep. All right. Sorry.
He's just gonna
Oh.
switch out from quarterback.
You get what I'm saying. You just started
Yeah.
this last week. I was literally
Marcus
staring
Simeon.
at the name too. Yeah, Marcus Simeon.
Interesting. Do you think, in terms of all the people that have been linked to the White Sox, do you think he's more on the side of this probably won't happen? Or do you think it's more towards like this is something I actually see them going out and doing?
I could actually see them going out and doing this.
That would be
Really
nuts.
can. We drafted him. He was with our organization for a long time. We traded him for Samardzija. Regretted it instantly. I think that's the kind of move we should make, and I think we have to make, honestly, if we really want a good shot. And I think that it's in the cards, honestly, for a 4-year dealish, around $100 million, probably over that. I think it suits us perfectly, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely suits you guys. I don't want to see it happen. Um,
That's fair.
just because I don't, Cubs
Yeah, yeah,
fan, and then I also want to see Marcus Simeon back.
yeah, yeah.
Or at a team I appreciate more. But the
Okay.
Sox, I mean, dude, if they get Simeon, wow, that's big. That's
Yeah,
like you're
I can
getting.
go a little smaller scale if you'd like.
I mean, yeah, whatever you think is kind of in the realm of possibilities. I mean, everything's
Okay.
up in the
I'll
air.
name a few. Like we mentioned before, Michael Conforto works pretty well. I think
Hmm.
if we get Simeon, we obviously don't get Conforto. Jerry Reinsdorf ain't spending that big, so
No.
uh, he's yeah, Conforto makes a lot of sense. I think if we spend big on one position, as far as right field and second base, we're going to cheap out a little bit on the other. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
which is fine with me. I think Ryan Tepera is a big re-signing that we need to make. I think there's a decent chance it happens also. Castellanos is also in the realm of possibility. We've been linked to him already, but I think Conforto is more of a fit and he gets less money, so I think it just makes more sense for us.
Hmm.
Obviously, it'd be nice to have Castellanos, but I'm setting the bar at Conforto. And then I think Chris Taylor is a guy that makes a lot of sense if we don't get the
Yeah,
other guys.
that would be huge. What do you think happens with Kimbrel?
He gets traded, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty known. I think he gets traded to. I'm stuck on the Padres and the Braves
Hmm.
and Phillies. Those are the three teams I really think that
I
are.
really like him to the Mariners.
Okay.
Maybe getting someone like Mitch Haniger back, who had a pretty decent year.
Ooh, I like that a lot. Actually, I
Yeah.
really hadn't considered that.
Yeah.
That would fill a good hole. Actually,
Yeah.
man, I might, yeah, I'm hopping on that train actually. I like that a lot because,
Yeah.
I mean, the prospects and stuff are nice, but teams really aren't willing to give up their prospects much anymore anyway, and especially for a 1-year closer who didn't really have success in the second half of last year. So
Hmm.
I'd be perfectly fine with that, and that would help my theory from before of the Mariners getting an outfielder.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
it all circles back. Yeah, I mean, I'm riding with that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's 30. the Mariners have up and coming outfielders they might want to make room for,
Yeah.
and getting someone like Kimbrel to help out in that bullpen, you're looking at a pretty solid team. I, that move just makes sense to me.
Yeah. Oh,
Depending
yeah.
on what each party thinks, that's up to
And
them.
shedding
But
salary at the same time.
yeah, exactly. So I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
Orioles, I don't think anything needs to be discussed. I just hope
No,
we see Adley Rushman next
pretty
year.
nice. See the Cedric Mullins train
That's true.
keep
Yeah,
on chugging along.
yeah, yeah. We don't need to talk about them.
Yeah.
Blue Jays are interesting. Simeon, I think we both think Simeon's gonna leave.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray, I think he leaves just because he's worth
Yeah.
so much
I see them
now.
replacing him though,
Oh yeah, for
obviously.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I have a little bit of a dark horse here with that
okay.
DH spot. I think Nelson Cruz goes there, and I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I
Hmm.
think that works perfectly for them.
Yeah,
Um, Another guy I have potential reunion
hmm.
with Marcus Stroman. Potential.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
I
I
could see
wouldn't
that.
mind that at all.
But I could see them getting maybe trying to think about starting pitching here. I think John Gray makes sense.
Yeah,
Kind of do something
solid pitcher.
similar that they did with Robbie Ray. I mean, not saying John Gray was nearly as bad as Robbie Ray was when he was, but
Yeah.
I think John Gray could not necessarily do as good as Robbie Ray did, but they could kind of fix him up a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
Pitching,
I'm perfectly fine with that.
yeah.
I think I think they lose some talent, but I also think I hope at least that they have the conscience to know they have the talent and they need to acquire talent after
Mhm.
losing people like Simeon or Robbie Ray if that happens.
Mhm.
Kirby Yates, I believe, is he a free agent or am I tripping? Um,
Um,
I,
I
I I'm
I
gonna look
want
up his contract. I think I heard that he was a free agent.
yeah, I
Um,
thought so too, but I'm not completely sure on that. It would have helped if he pitched this year, but
yeah, he is a free agent.
yeah, that's what I
Or
thought.
yeah, he is. Um, that
It's on
might be someone that I don't know if they want to bring
Oh yeah,
back just because you don't know how he's going to respond to the injury. He's a really good
yeah,
closer, but
mhm,
I could see them adding random, not randoms, but you know what I mean. Someone like a Joe
yeah,
Kelly. I think he fits the Blue Jays quite well. Um, and maybe even going towards some of the upper echelon guys, maybe like a Kendall Graveman, maybe a
uh-huh,
Chafin. Um, I think they make moves, and I think they know they're in a spot. They're in the hardest division in the league, but I
mhm.
think they're in a spot where they know they can at least contend, as we saw this year.
Yeah, I agree. Um,
Yeah. Red Sox, I think we're both on the Rodon train.
yeah, but I have some other thoughts here. I think they get back Schwarber.
Yeah, me too.
Fits very well.
I think it's almost guaranteed, even though it's not. I really
Yeah.
think it is.
Also could see a potential Joe Kelly reunion.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, besides that, I mean,
Maybe a
they
lower end bullpen piece.
yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at with Joe Kelly. I don't know if you
That's
consider him
true.
lower
Yeah, I
end.
forgot about that.
Uh, I mean, besides that, uh, Daniel Hudson maybe,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Jake Diekman potentially.
solid little
Yeah.
southpaw there. Yeah, I mean, I think they stay mostly the same with like an acquisition that we really like, which is going to be like a Rodon or something that puts them right over the edge.
Yeah.
Because they're a very solid team. The Yankees,
Or
I think, or actually go to the Red Sox again. What were you gonna say?
the they could do the Rizzo run like everyone was hyping up.
Do you think they give up on Bobby?
Um, they could platoon DH/DH. Like because JD played the outfield a little bit last year, so
Yeah.
they always find a way for spots like that. Bobby's good, but I you'd still like to have another guy, especially
Hmm.
with a team that's in such a competitive division. Doesn't hurt
Yeah, for sure. That would be really good for them. I would love to see him go to the Red Sox if he were to leave the Yankees.
because he doesn't get
Um,
a long-term deal anyway. So
no, no, no. Yeah, you're right. Yankees. I think it's pretty much kind of known they're gonna get someone big, whether
you'd
that's
think,
Seager
yeah,
or Correa. I don't. I really. I think Seager is definitely going there. Like honestly,
yeah.
I think I hate it. I love Corey Seager. I don't want to. see him in a Yankees uniform.
Yeah,
Um,
I the Yankees also I could see them getting like Jack Peterson too.
he kind of looks like a Yankee in the
Yeah,
weirdest way.
replace Brett Gardner.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
far as like
yeah.
outfielder positioning, they could just move Judge or Gallo to center. But you get what I'm saying.
I think they do add a pitcher as well.
Oh,
Um,
and they have Aaron Hicks. Just keeping that in mind. But yeah.
yeah, it's basically useless. I do think they add someone, maybe like a Zach Greinke, maybe like a
Mhm.
I don't know DeSclafani.
They're
Um,
known for those guys at the end of their career. It would
yeah.
break my heart if that guy's Kershaw, though. I'll tell you that. I
Oh
don't think
my,
it would be,
I don't
but
think there's a chance to be honest. It
yeah,
just doesn't seem right.
doesn't sit well with me either. Oh
No.
yeah, yeah. I mean they got Heen Dog gone to L.A., so we got to fill that void.
LAC's future Robbie Ray and Andrew Heaney.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's
Um,
interesting.
I could see the Yankees going for Rodon, like we kind of said earlier too.
hmm
But yeah, I don't know. I think they add like a lower end starting pitcher, like a Tyler Anderson or something like that.
Yeah, with Severino coming back, you have him and Cole, and then you also have some young guys that kind of showed up a little bit, and then kind of a mix of like the older guys as well. But I don't think they go crazy. If they do go crazy, I mean, no, I don't think they're going to go crazy in the starting pitching department. I think what they're going to do is get that big shortstop, no matter who it is. But Trevor Story kind of looks like a Yankee in my mind. I don't know if I think they're going to spend more to get
Yeah,
a better player, but Trevor Story looks like a Yankee.
yeah,
I
I
don't
agree
know.
with that.
Yeah. Moving on to the Rays. This is interesting because I think the Rays are going to sell, but do it in the Rays way, where they just win every trade. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think Tyler Glasnow is gone. I don't know.
No, yeah. I see what you're saying there completely.
hmm
I think they're gonna get. I mean, they'll get a haul for him too.
They're
That's the
going to
thing.
get the next Kershaw in like 6 years for him, and they
That's
won't
what
even know.
that's what scares me so much. And I think Shane Baz just steps right in.
hmm
That's the thing. And then Patino and then McClanahan are just all going to be a
Yeah.
three-headed monster next year. I mean, I think
Yeah.
one of those guys probably will, just judging by the odds, probably doesn't live up to expectations quite next year. But I think at least two of those guys are absolute.
I'm really confident in uh, Shane, and I'm confident in both Shanes, to be honest. I think the Shanes take
Yeah.
it. Um, just seeing what I saw, especially McClanahan, because he proved it over a decent extended period.
Mhm.
Um, and he was just nasty for the most part. He had a little blow up in the playoffs, but I really
Yeah,
do. I
he
like
was
his
a
pitching
rookie.
style.
Yeah,
What was that?
I said he
Okay.
was a rookie, so
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. No, I was really impressed with him for sure. He's one I think should be in the rookie of the year conversation. Maybe not the top three, but
yeah,
maybe. I don't know. He was really good, but
yeah. I like our CS season more, but I see what you're
hmm yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was going through every single team. Probably missed a few things just because we're trying to go through it at a decent pace.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we'll definitely have more. We'll be talking about free agents and all of that in the rest of the offseason. So if you're listening and you think we missed something, we would probably return to it very soon. But yeah, we kind of covered everything we wanted to talk about. Is there anything else before we sign off?
Mm. Um. No, I think we covered all our bases there.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
just dipping our toe into free agency, but it felt like
Mhm.
we got a lot done.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely be doing more diving into free agency. So make sure to download the podcast, like it if you're on YouTube, subscribe, and follow us on every social media, especially TikTok if you want to see more personal baseball videos. Just hit 2,100 followers, which is pretty dope in the first month. Can't complain about that. Um, and yeah, with that, we thank you for listening to us, and have a great day or night whenever you're listening. Peace out.